There's so much power in a name, isn't there? Associations are made, and before long, one finds themselves stuck with a label, unable to free themselves from its ugly grip. Occupations oftentimes define a person and gives them their sense of worth. And so it was with me, Rahab, the prostitute. Tension was high in the city, as high as the walls that surrounded Jericho. There were wars, and there were rumors of wars. Everyone was on high alert. No one was allowed in the city, and no one was allowed out. You could almost see the city gates shake with fear. So when the two men asked me to hide them, it wasn't an unusual request. And when another knock came at my door, my heart began to race. For surely it must be the king's men. There was much at stake. My life and my family's lives. So I sidestepped the truth, and I told the guards that the men had already left. And it worked. The guards were gone, but the spies remained. Something burned deep inside me as I ran onto the rooftop. I knew what camp these men were from. They were from the tribe of truth. And truth was what I so desperately needed. For the Lord, your God, is God, in the heavens above and on the earth below. Something burst forth in me as I claimed my faith in their God, my God. The walls of guilt and condemnation came tumbling down in my soul. And for the first time in a really long time, I was filled with hope. So I lowered the two men down by a rope through a window. But the negotiations weren't over. For my life and my family's lives also depended on this cord being hung out the window. It's amazing, really, how things change. Now, this color was being used to keep a promise and not break one. I saw many miraculous things in those days, but the most miraculous happened to me. Yes, it took courage for me to hide the spies, but it took more courage for me to finally cross over that line and believe in the one true God that I couldn't see, but that I knew was there. You see, we are all going to die. But how many of us will really live by faith? Many people judge a book by its cover. And many men have flipped through the pages of my story over and over again. And many thought that they knew how my story was going to end. Not so. For I am living proof that God is the only one who knows the beginning and the ending of every person's life. And just because a person's story starts out one way doesn't mean it has to end that way. Sometimes our desperateness leads us to places that we don't want to go. And sometimes our desperateness leads us home, right where we belong.